Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode. We're talking about today the handful of irrevocable decisions that you have to make right around retirement time, that some of which you'll have a window to change, but all of which, after a certain point, you can't change them. There's no do-overs, there's no takesy backsies, whatever you call it. You can't do it again. I want to make sure you get the most out of your retirement, get the most out of your money, get the most out of your life. And it starts by solid decision making. It starts with good information, which we're going to dive into today. Now, I'm going to bring up a number of topics, a number of subjects that are going to be critical for you to make a decision on around retirement. However, this video is not meant to be an in-depth guide on all these topics. I would need a long time to do that. However, all of these topics, I've got other videos that go into depth into that specific topic, okay? Just so you know, so you'll be able to branch out on the things that you think are most important for you. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Dallin Haas, where basically here we help you as federal employees get the most out of your money, retire comfortable and confident. Number one, let's start with number one. One of the decisions you make directly on your retirement application, as a federal employee is survivor benefits. Now, if you are married, this is going to be such a critical piece of your retirement and your spouse's retirement to make sure you get it right. If you're single, it generally isn't needed. Generally. There's exceptions, but generally not needed. Unless you have a life partner or something like that where it would be important for you to leave them something, okay? Or if you're married, this is so crucial. As you know, there's a few options here. If you want your spouse to have any piece of your pension, if you were to die first, you have to pay for a survivor benefit. It's not free. They don't get something automatically. There's three options. Option number one is you don't have to elect anything. You don't. You could elect, say, I don't want to pay for that. And if you pass, they would not get a pension. Now, there is one benefit that is indestructibly, that's not a word, one of those words. It is tied 100% with having a survivor benefit, and that is health insurance. So let me run you through a scenario to show you what this is all about. If you choose not to elect a survivor benefit, and you were to pass away first, your spouse would not only not have any piece of your pension left, but they would no longer be able to stay on your health insurance because they don't have a piece of your pension. Why health insurance and the pension is connected, I'm not exactly sure, but all I know is they are connected. That is what I do know, okay? So there's a couple pieces here. Number one, when deciding whether to get a survivor benefit or not, again, I'm not going to go into the depths. Go check out my other videos on survivor benefits specifically. Okay. The two things to consider though are, number one, if you die first, does your spouse have the health insurance they need to be okay? Second, does your spouse have the income they need to be okay? And those are the two questions you need to answer for you and your situation, be able to decide whether or not you need survivor benefits. It's one of the decisions that you've got a small window to change, but after that, it is locked in. You want to make sure you do it correctly the first time. Other decisions are like FEGLI, your life insurance. As people approach retirement, that is when they tend to make some big decisions with their FEGLI, their life insurance through your work as a federal employee, okay? I talk to a lot of people, and right around retirement is when they start canceling a lot of life insurance they've had for years and years. They've never thought about it, right? Number one, I don't care where you're at in your career. Look at the life insurance you have. Is it enough? Is it too much? Is it expensive? Is it cheap? Where do you stand? Do you need more? And then if you do, go find the cheapest place to do that. It may be FEGLI, depending on your health and everything else, but maybe it's not. And this is what I would say, is many people approach from retirement, they don't need much life insurance at that point. And so it does make sense for many people to get rid of their FEGLI. However, before you go do that, before you run out and cancel your life insurance, you want to make sure, review what you have, and be very thoughtful about what you take into retirement, okay? And life insurance is one of those things where it's easy to reduce the insurance you have, easy to cut it back. It's harder, especially as you get older, to add more. So you want to make sure you're covered and you don't reduce it down to a level where maybe you're not covered, okay? That's next. FEGLI. Make sure you know exactly what you're going into retirement on your FEGLI, okay? Next, FEHB. Now, when it comes to your retirement application, there is a couple things for FEHB, but the biggest thing you have to remember for FEHB, which I'm talking about your health insurance, Federal Employee Health Benefits is your health insurance, FEHB. The biggest thing you have to understand before you leave the government is if you're eligible to keep your health insurance into retirement or not, okay? That is some of the biggest things that if you go into retirement not being eligible, you can never get on FEHB, right? That is long gone. It is irrevocable once you decide to retire if you're not eligible. So you want to make sure you're eligible to keep your FEHB in retirement. Again, I've got videos that go into depth, but here are the core basics. Number one, you have to retire with what they call an immediate retirement, okay? If you want a deferred retirement or a weird type of retirement, you probably won't be eligible for health insurance. Now, go check out my other videos for the details on that. But this is the basics. Also, you have to be covered under FEHB for the 5 years before retirement. So if there was a break for you for whatever reason, then you may be in trouble. You want to check that out, okay? Now, if you're covered under your spouse's plan, maybe they were a federal employee and you're on their FEHB, no problem. That's fine. As long as you're covered under FEHB for the 5 years before retirement and you qualify for an immediate retirement, then boom, you are ready to go and you are eligible to keep FEHB into retirement. That is a big, big one, okay? Now, again, two more things that these are not directly on the retirement application. However, they are connected to retirement, okay? First one is Social Security. This is one of those things where, again, you've got some windows to change where there's a couple times you can move stuff around. But in general, once you make a Social Security decision, it's hard to change it and sometimes completely irrevocable, okay? So you want to be careful that you understand that decision. Now, Social Security is one of those decisions that I see is so heavily tainted by these dumb rules of thumb, by what people's friends say, what they read online, where people don't even think about it very deep or don't do their own research because they're going off of a few phrases that they heard at a few different times on when they should start Social Security, how they should handle it. And in my opinion, that is some of the worst ways to make any decisions, right? You want to make sure you understand the decision. I've got tons of videos on Social Security for you, especially as federal employees, the dynamics you want to consider. Again, there's no perfect one size fits all. You want to make sure it makes sense for you because Social Security is one of the best ways you can ensure first, you've got a great retirement and your spouse is taken care of. Everything is going to work if you have a good plan for Social Security. So go, again, check out my other videos on that. Next, one of those biggest decisions that happens around retirement is the biggest decision of when you're going to retire, when you are ready to retire. Knowing, okay, look, all my ducks in a row, I know that if I retire at this time, I'm going to have the income and the retirement that I want, and I'm going to be okay. I don't have to go back to work. I don't have to struggle. I don't have to pinch my pennies, right? That is one of the biggest decisions that once you retire, you sure hope it's irrevocable, right? You sure hope you don't have to go back. You sure hope that you don't have to go take a part-time job. That's the goal for most people, right? You want to make sure you understand your finances in retirement, where you're going to be at, what your money's going to look like, how taxes are going to work, how all these pieces I talked about today, how it's all going to work, how you get the most out of your benefits, and make sure you are confident and comfortable about retirement. Now, actually in the description below, there's tons of resources to help you become more comfortable. Whether my free book on the TSP, you could check that out. I've got tons of other videos. You can book appointments with our firm. There's links below to do that if you're interested in that. Tons of great things to hopefully get you one step closer to being prepared for a comfortable and confident retirement. That is always the goal. So I hope that's helpful. Again, this is just a glimpse into some of the core decisions you're making around retirement so that you could, from here, can branch out to go into depth in the ones that are most critical for you, the ones that you don't know much about. So I hope that's helpful. Have an incredible rest of your day. We'll talk soon.